Welcome to the Daily Tanya. Today is Thursday, the 13th day of Cheshvan, and today we continue chapter 27 in Igeret Hakodesh. And in fact, today's lesson is actually an explanation on the letter that we learned the last 2 days. That's a very rare thing that the Alter Rebbe would write an explanation on a letter. In fact, and I think this is the only letter we know that the Alter Rebbe wrote an explanation. And the Rebbe explains that this was an explanation was really needed because, as we remember the last 2 days, we said that the Alter Rebbe wrote this letter to console the Hasidim after the passing of his colleague / mentor, Rabbi Menachem Mendel of Vitebsk, and the Hasidim were left without the leader. And the Alter Rebbe explains how the life of the Tzadik continues in this world, and as Hasidim, and brings the blessings. And indeed we see it today, Baruch Hashem. Even though physically we don't see the Rebbe, but the Rebbe is with us. We see it in every step of our daily lives. So here in this letter, in today's lesson, Alter Rebbe begins the explanation, telling us about what is really the life of a tzaddik. That the life of the tzaddik really, even in this world, is not a physical life. His life is the spiritual. I mean, what is life for a human being? Of course, we have to eat and sleep. But what do you live? What makes you alive? Some people have their life is music. Some people their life is intellect. The life of a tzaddik is holiness, godliness. That's what the life of a tzaddik is. And this is, Alter Rebbe explained, this is the emunah, ahava, yira, the faith, the love, and the fear of Hashem. There's the story of the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, the Rebbe's father-in-law. In 1927, he was arrested in Russia for spreading Yiddishkeit. It was against, the communist revolution. He wanted to stop Judaism. And he went underground. He sent people to teach yeshivas, to teach children, and to have the brisen, and to have mikvahs open quietly, secretly. And they arrested him, and they sentenced them already to be executed, and with miracles he was released. So during one of the interrogations, one of the interrogators pointed at a gun on the table, and he asked him to better open up his mouth. The Frierdiker Rebbe did not say a thing. They wanted him to give up names of who is involved and so on. So he pointed at the gun, and he said, "You see this toy that opened up people's mouth. Even mute people started to talk." And the Frierdiker Rebbe was not impressed. And he answered them in a very cool way. He told them, this toy can scare someone who has one world and many gods. I have one God and two worlds. That toy does not impress me. And the Rebbe once explained what the previous Rebbe said. He didn't just mean to say that I have two worlds, so therefore, if you take my life, I'm ready to go to the next life. What he really said is deeper. He said that my life now, I live in a different world. This physical world is not what I live. I live already in a higher spiritual world. So therefore that toy does not impress me. That was the Frierdiker Rebbe's life. The connecting with Hashem. Keeping Yiddishkeit. That was his life. So that toy does not impress me. He didn't live in this physical world. In fact, we saw by the Rebbe also, we saw the Rebbe's life. Also physically, we saw that he went on for days eating minimal, There was once the Rebbe on Sundays, he was giving out dollars for hours and hours the last few years, every Sunday. So there was once a lady, an old lady was standing in line for a couple of hours to get a dollar from the Rebbe. The Rebbe would give the dollar and then give tzedakah. To give to tzedakah, we kept the dollar of the Rebbe. So this lady told, when she came to the Rebbe, she told the Rebbe, how could you stand for so many hours and give out the dollars? How don't you get tired? I'm standing here only for an hour, two, whatever. She was waiting in line and I can't stand. How could you stand for so long? And the Rebbe told her, when you count diamonds, you don't get tired. The Rebbe seeing Yidden, seeing Jews, every Jew is a diamond. You count the diamonds. That was his life. The spiritual life. So let's see inside what the Alter Rebbe tells us let's first begin again with tzedakah. Gedoyla tzedakah, shemekareves es hageula. Tzedakah brings Mashiach closer. So, says the Alter Rebbe, biur alaniskel el, an elucidation of the above. Ise bezoyer HaKadosh, the Tzadik de Ispatar, ishtakach bekol almen yatem bechayoy. It is stated in the sacred Zohar that when a Tzadik departs, he is to be found in all the worlds more than during his lifetime. In all the worlds, the Tzadik is found more than during his lifetime. Says the Alter Rebbe, v'tzorich lovin, now this needs to be understood. Teinach ba'olam es elyonim, ishtakach yater ba'alois hashama. Avos ba'olam hazeh eich ishtakach yater. It says, for granted that he's to be found increasingly in the upper worlds when he ascends there following his passing. That I can understand, that's granted. In the upper worlds, obviously is not limited in the physical bodies, is found more in the upper worlds. But how is he found more in this world? So in order to explain this, the Alter Rebbe begins with what he quoted in the beginning of the letter, V'yeshloimar al derech masher kibalti al maimar chazal deshovak chaim lekol chaim. This may be explained along the lines of a teaching which I received concerning the idiom of our sages of blessed memory, that a departed tzaddik has left life to all the living. So, as we explained 2 days ago, doesn't mean that he left life and left everybody alive, but he left his life to all the living. To understand this, the Alter Rebbe begins to explain that the life of a tzaddik is a spiritual life. It's not a fleshly life, not physical life. And again, yes, he eats and he drinks, but the real life is the spirit, the spiritual life. כנוידע שחיי הצדיק אינם חיים בשרים, כי אם חיים רוחניים שהם אמונה ויראה ואהבה. As is known that the life of a tzaddik is not a fleshly life, but a spiritual life, consisting of faith, awe, and love. Of course, faith, awe, and love of Hashem. And Alter Rebbe brings verses from the Torah that refers to these three things in terms of life. And when you see verses in the Torah is the Torah of truth. When the Torah calls it life, that means this is the real life. Ki be'emunah ksiv, v'tzadik be'emunah yichya. Thus of faith it is written, and the tzaddik lives by his faith. U'be'yirah ksiv, v'yiras Hashem l'chaim. Of awe it is written, the awe of God leads to life. And the same thing is with love. And of love it is written, he who pursues tzedakah and chesed, kindness, will find life. Now here in this verse it doesn't say clearly that love is life, but it says that chesed is life. And chesed, v'chesed hu ahava. And chesed signifies love, for love is its core. We learned it earlier in the Tanya. That when you have the chesed, the love of a person is the core of the chesed, the engine of the chesed. Hence, when the term life is used to describe chesed, it applies to love as well. So to sum up, faith in God and the awe and love of Him are thus all referred to as life in the verses of the Torah. Now says the Alter Rebbe that these attributes, faith, love, and fear of Hashem, they are present in every level. What does that mean? So you can have people who live a life of, their life is music, for example. Other people, their life is to eat. They love to eat. So certainly their lives, what they live, may be here in this physical world, but if you go to different levels, that doesn't have any meaning. Food doesn't have any meaning in the spiritual world. Even music, it's a higher spiritual thing. But here, it's music, it means something. In the higher world, it's not the same thing. But these things, the love, the fear, and the emunah in Hashem, it is faith and love and fear of God and godliness, the faith and love and fear in God in every single level. It is present there. Obviously, according to its level, deeper and a higher level and a higher level. So that's what the Alter Rebbe says. Now, these three attributes are present in every world up to the highest of levels. All proportionate to the level of the worlds. One higher than the other, by way of cause and effect, as is known. At any level, each world serves as an antecedent and a cause to the lowest world, the effect, which it brings into being. So the love of the higher level leads as an effect to the love in the lower level. So this is the end of today's shir, and tomorrow the Alter Rebbe is going to explain why, after his passing, he's present in this world even more than during his lifetime. So we shall see him at Hashem tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.